Okay, let's look at Clearside because everyone wants to look at that. Since there's some news coming up very soon. It's another binary event. I guess we've got 4 now. It really feels like it's the last 2 days. Just the last 5 calendar, maybe? Those are real prints, by the way. We're going to allow you to exclude them if you want. Really high res, 15-minute candles at least here. We should get 1-second candles too. And it should draw new candles if we want. So stocks can't necessarily keep going up for lots of reasons. One is, I think the stock market is an extraction function of GDP. And that extraction function is multivariable. You have GDP as an input, and you have, say, earnings per share as an output. The problem with that is that your assumed GDP growth will grow up outside of inflation. And the only thing that can happen there is productivity gains, as we know in basic economics, right? So what country will have productivity gains? Can you forecast that? That is basically tantamount to saying equities will go up. Not every country's got productivity gains. And the offset of productivity gains, hey, Nelson, welcome. The offset to productivity gains is things like grift. So you have fraud and stuff like that. You've got self-dealing. You've got, Ludditism, regulatory, there's protectionism. No, productivity gains in economics terms. So economic theory states that the only way GDP can grow, right, is through, well, at least GDP per capita can only grow through productivity gains. Not in all markets, Ace. And productivity gains are offset because, like I said, it's not just productivity gains because the stock market is not GDP. Stock market is GDP extraction. Not all GDP flows to the stock market, and there's so many other things that get in the way of that extraction. For example, taxes, regulation, grift. All those things are frictions that eliminate those productivity gains and arguably make them negative. Now, I do think AI is going to make us more productive, but yeah, there will be things that get in the way of productivity, sometimes in large ways and sometimes in small ways. America works and has worked because we generally let that productivity flourish, we let it compound. Europe works less because the productivity doesn't apply as much. They have unions, which are very anti-productive, for example. Taxes decrease productivity. They're a tax on productivity. Literally, they say, okay, you're more productive, cool, let us have a portion of that productivity. So tons of issues there with assuming that stocks can go up or longer. Maybe I'll write a nice paper on it or something. Yeah, I mean, you've got entrepreneurism is now basically at a standstill in China. Yeah, I mean, it's a very contrary opinion too, so you have to give me a little credit for making it in the first place. Speaking of graft and grift, I mean, the nice thing about GameStop, and you have to give credit to this, is that Cohen doesn't take a salary. It's a pretty big deal. He's not siphoning the company's money into his own pocket. He's already rich. So that's cool. But I'm not sure that I pay a huge premium for that. And I do think 𝗏𝗏𝗘𝗏 is an idiot and a scammer. I don't know about Sam Altman. I like Sam. Oh, just like Sam in terms of OpenAI. Yeah, I mean, look, OpenAI is one of the most successful new companies of all time. You got to have at least 10, 20 million in revenue to IPO, at least. Probably closer to 50 before it's worth IPOing. And you got to need to use the capital. Now, thankfully, we do use a lot of capital. We love doing M&A. All right, let's look at Clearside. People really want me to look at that one. Binary event. I always like trading binary events. It's a dollar stock, so there's only one way to trade this one, long, probably. It's axitinib in some kind of device, I guess, to get it in the eye. That's this magic injection. Suprachoroidal, right? All right, so what do they call this thing? CLSAX for axitinib. Yeah, they were a little scared, and now they've realized they can't be scared. The problem with Google is that they don't have a good product team. They're very reluctant to release product. Private capital markets are interesting. They'll be getting more developed, and they're kind of a reaction to the SEC. The nature will find lowest entropy, right? If it's easier to do all this without publicly traded markets, we'll do all this without publicly traded markets. I don't follow any YouTubers that trade or invest. I don't think you should either, unless they've worked on Wall Street and they're serious people. No 0 to hero. I mean, some people maybe can go from 0 to hero, but anybody who's talented, no, I worked on Wall Street. That's not 0 to hero. Anybody who's talented will work at a Citadel or at 0.72. It's just too lucrative. Why wouldn't you? You're a good trader. Steve Cohen will give you $500 million and say, here, go trade. Split the profits with you. Instead, the guy's worth, trading on YouTube. Come on, wake up. Technical analysis, a real job. I don't even know anything about Michael Burry. I don't even know who he is. You want to know real traders on Wall Street? Go on my GitHub. Look at all these guys. These are the real players on Wall Street. Not the Michael Burry. Oh, I mean, I run a software company. We raised a bunch of money. We're doing great. We just fired a bunch of people. And we've replaced them with better people. Much more productive. Okay, so they had Oasis in phase 1-2. This should be letters test, most likely. Visual acuity. Change from baseline? Okay, so no, this is not a true clinical trial. They're not comparing against 𝗕𝗡𝗍𝗄 exactly. They're just sort of, there's going to be some, I guess, like, informational data. It's not a pass-fail thing if it's changed from baseline. Of course it's going to change from baseline. Going blind, you take an AMD drug, you're going to change. It's change versus control group. That's important. Let's see if I can find this presentation. This is going to be useful. And 500 people have read this article. Sad. You don't want the abstract. I want the whole thing. It says open access. Let me access it. See, I don't know what they're trying to accomplish in this trial. So they probably want non-inferiority, no less than 12 weeks, and Eylea every 8 weeks. It's kind of as needed. It's a little odd. But wait a second, both patients are getting 𝗕𝗡𝗍𝗄? That don't make no sense. Yeah, happy 𝗥𝗘 got approved. Just short the stock, you don't have to do options. I think keratoconus can be cured, but I don't know for sure. I haven't looked at that disease in a long time. I really don't know. It's $1 stock. I don't know how much calls and puts you can buy. The company's stock is a call option. The problem is we don't know. We don't have any real monotherapy data. Cohort 4 seem to be fine. I don't know. It might be a buy. I don't know. It's hard to say. Like I've always liked to say, like, you don't have to make any trades. Let me see if I can call one of their stockholders. Armistice cut in half. There's so many companies trying to be in. It's like AMD, Regeneron type space, VEGF space, and carve out a tiny market for themselves. And nobody's been able to do it. They're brutal. These guys have been nothing but a dilution machine. Literally down 95%. Perrigo is this OTC drug company, very levered up. When you see like those store brand drugs, they're usually the company that's making it. Gotta learn the short, guys. Stocks don't just go up forever. Don't be naive, all right? Protect yourself at all times. Protect your neck. That is what the Wu-Tang taught us. The stock market's not a relevancy contest. It's a cash flow contest. I think it's a popularity contest. What's the most relevant company? You just buy that one. That's it. That's all you need to know. And usually these things kind of moves in Bitcoin kind of continue. Look at this, like momentum. Momentum is negative. What do they call that, Tone? Momentum? Momentum is not good. Look at that. Look at it right there. 6 months going down. Lower lows is what they call that on Wall Street. Lower lows. Lower low, lower low, lower low. Probably another lower low coming. This could be a good short. 1 month down, 1 month up. But less than the down. 1 month down, 1 month up. 1 month down, 1 month up. Why won't it go another month down? Why would it break? Why break it? I don't know. I never want to see another XYZ stock again. Like for biotech. I never want to hear about another biotech stock again. That sector is dead. Same thing with the internet. I don't want to look at another internet stock for the rest of my life. Yeah, you're going to need a little bit more price decline before you can call it a bear market yet for crypto. Prices have been kind of flat. At least people have stopped saying the word cycle. No, I don't follow anything for macro yet. But I'm open-minded to looking at macro more because people ask me about it all the time. Same thing about to do with ADMA. ADMA has become more of a revenue generator over time. It's really incredible. I remember when this company was so small and they were so ambitious to do this huge revenue growth story, and they did it. It's really cool. So I'm just going to download it like that. And that's going to get it look better with AI and stuff like that we're going to add to it, so that's a lot easier to do everything. All right, yeah, I remember when ADMA was a real small company. Millennium may be sold out of their ADMA. Oh yeah, I wanted to look at structure because they have a GLP. There's a new GLP company came out today as well. Privately held. They raised 400 million Series A. Yeah, good idea, balls. No, I don't know. That seems like overworking. Yeah, you always got to manage risk reward, just in the sense that you can't have all your eggs in one basket. Other than that, I don't know. I mean, the more conviction, the more sizing. I mean, that's fairly clear Kelly criterion type stuff. Oh wow, ADMA really went on that run only in the last year. So everyone was waiting for this thing for years. This was a bit of a dog. $2. Finally, all that revenue came through. That's wild. Market was efficient back then. They knew in 2015. 400, 445 guidance. Are they selling this plasma to the drug companies, or are they selling drug? Or not? They are ascensive, non-recurring boost to revenue there. Just got to strip that out, but it's all IVIG, all ascensive. Yeah, I mean, IVIG is just a great business. That's why I really liked this stock way back when. It's really a small company. Yeah, I mean, it's certainly not cheap with enterprise value of almost $5 billion. So it all depends on, how many years of exclusivity are left. These guys have capacity, right? They have to expand capacity. The IVIG market's kind of had some difficult capacity issues. But EBITDA does get taxed. It's an American company. They're almost exclusively American, so you can't dodge taxes. Okay, Ascentive is still supply constrained, maybe? Yeah, mostly just cash flow and how many years are left, basically it. If there's only a finite number of years left, I would just discount the cash flow. If there's, like in this company, there's no generic IVIG, then I would think about a multiple. Can't play it in that blood. There are going to be ways to do polyclonals. Not as generics, but less without, harvesting people's blood. This is an old school process. Pay people for donations. Not a donation then, is it? Who has that technology is 𝗥𝗘𝗢𝗘 bought this little company that does this weird polyclonal thing. Obviously it's not prime time yet. I don't know how to do it. Okay, so this is IV, 10% IV. Takeda sells a bunch of different ones. This one is not Takeda, right? This is CSL. No, this is Takeda, okay. Competition, it's GammaGuard. I don't know what GammaGuard liquid is, because there's, I guess, a sub-Q IVIG and SQIG, I guess. HyQuivia. I think HyQuivia is not used as much, right? Let's look at the Takeda model. And then Baxter has it, right? They maybe just disclose immunoglobulin. They may not disclose. Yeah, they just say IVIG. But I guess the point here is that if Takeda's doing $7 billion of IVIG sales, and these things are all the same basically, whether it's 𝗥𝗡𝗙 or Takeda, these guys will eventually, ADMA eventually could take a lot of market share, and that means that they could have massive upside. And it seems like a well-run company. This guy stewarded the company from basically nothing to this incredible success. So I would bet on him rather than one of these big pharmas. Scrappy, aggressive. That's interesting, yeah. I mean, I thought mostly the IVIG market was the... I mean, it's used for a lot of stuff, actually. Gamestop. $7 billion revenue for Grifols. Did Baxter split off IVIG? They do 𝗙𝗏𝗡𝗏? Oh yeah, SAB is interesting. I don't know much about Roger Newton. Was that the Seattle Genetics guy? I think Baxter got rid of IVIG a long time ago. Yeah, it's Takeda now. Takeda acquired, or Shire acquired Baxalta. Ah, that's it. That's a long time ago. And then Takeda bought Shire, of course. Yeah, I don't know much about Roger Newton. It's a long time ago. I didn't think he was still active, but I don't know. Oh, that guy. Yeah. I remember now. I don't think it's that great. I don't think he's seen as a magic man or anything. So we got Takeda, Grifols, and there's like 2 more. CSL, of course. Yeah, I guess I'm pretty bullish then on these guys, because they can keep growing capacity. I wouldn't say there's no limit to their growth, but I could see them easily get to $1 billion. And they're saying they could even have even bigger margins, which is pretty cool. So the margins have crept up from very low to very high, 20s to 50s. These things don't just sell themselves, of course. You gotta work at it. Charlie, just because there's a war going on doesn't mean we go run out and buy war stocks. Doesn't work that way. You can tell the noobs as soon as they walk in. The question is, what's changing in the IVIG market? You know? Okay, so this thing is kind of implying the $4 billion valuation, which sort of makes sense, but kind of doesn't make sense to me. Let me see. More terminal years. Yeah, I don't know. The numbers aren't adding up for you. You would think it would. Yeah, I mean, I guess there's a lot of growth priced in for this thing, which is frustrating because it looks really attractive. Maybe I shouldn't do a terminal value out that far. Maybe I can give it 5 more growth years, but it's not going to grow at that speed, so I got to adjust this a little bit. Let's say 10, 10, 5. This is what 𝗙𝗏𝗡𝗏 does, right? Okay, you get a double. Plus 10% a year discount. Yeah, I like ADMA, man. I forced the model to make sure that I like the stock, right? Future earnings, Willie. You just forecast future earnings. Discount it back. Yeah, Lukey, it's the future. It's definitely the future. It's not that much more expensive than 11 Labs. It's cheaper than 11, so it's going to hurt 11 Labs more. Goodell's $40 a month right now. It's going to go up to at least 100 when we drop a whole bunch of new features. Yeah, you know, ADMA's an okay long. It's they got to keep executing, and this model, I got them going to $1 billion in revenue, all the way up to maybe 2 someday with more and more IVIG. Numbers give you a headache. Finance isn't for you. The stock market's not for you. In the wrong place. Okay, so yeah, I like ADMA.